Where is the weirdest place you've ever fallen asleep? I fell asleep one time waiting before a medical procedure. They had to wake me up so that I could sign paperwork permitting them to put me to sleep. Oh, the irony. Oh, I've done that too. Went into the university emergency room equivalent because I was so sick. I thought it was mono. Nurse did her thing. I fell asleep on the examination table after she left. I fell asleep in the exam room and had a nice little nap. Turns out they forgot I was in there. I was in grad school and needed the sleep. TBH. On film sets. First time we were sat in a comfy auditorium for hours on end, fake clapping and laughing. One after another someone would doze off, and if an AD noticed they'd wake us up, unless the person was quiet enough and the others were making enough noise. During a particular slow turnover I dozed off. And during this period of my life I was a bit phlegmy, so I didn't realize my head had rocked back and I was snoring loud. Eventually when I came to, the crew was still doing adjustments. I remember this girl's face as she looked up at me with the most appalled look on her face. I must have been snoring badly. Second time this happened, it was very unexpected. I was playing a refugee in a tent with other extras. The director had to place me further away from the others and turn me away from the camera because of how I looked. I lay there awake but pretending to be unconscious for the first and second take. I then wake after who knows how long to clapping and an AD praising us. And that's a wrap, guys. My friend on set, another extra, came up to me to say that I didn't move an inch even when he tried to tell me jokes. We had just clicked on set and were having a lot of fun that day. I had to ask him how long has it been since we started rolling and find out that it's been a good 3 to 4 hours. Easiest paycheck I have or will make in my life. Question: how does one become an extra in a movie? In a crawl space when I was a technician for a laboratory. Here in Germany, nobody has crawl space. I only know crawl spaces from horror stories or real serial killer material. So they are linked like this in my head. I'd probably never close my eyes if I ever was in one. In the back of an ambulance. I'm the paramedic. Your ailment bores me. The original sleep doctor. I've done this before. Hour-and-a-half long BS transfer. Checked her vitals. Put her on the monitor. Made sure she was comfortable. And passed out in the seat behind her. She slept too, haha. For anyone wondering, it wasn't an emergency. Not all times someone is in our ambulance is it an emergency. In fact, it's usually not an emergency. On a hedge at the end my road. Dad wasn't too pleased at driving past his pissed up son sleeping in a hedge on his way to work. On a hedge or in a hedge? Quite a difference. One is much funnier. Over the hedge. In the office of a funeral director I was making a sales call to. Years later it dawned on me that he probably thought I would just leave if he made me wait forever. He probably would have boxed you up and put you away if you slept long enough. Thank goodness you made it out alive. Underneath the car while doing an oil change. This actually sounds kind of nice. Until someone gets in and starts the thing. Done it. As a dad and husband. Sometimes when you catch an hour or so of quiet. Naps just kinda happen. On the bus. Standing up. In my defense. It was a traffic jam and I hadn't slept the previous night. Hey, I applaud you for this one. Last time I stood on the bus. I fell over so many times. I used to have this problem. Then I stopped sleeping standing up. Wiz Khalifa concert. Everyone was so high. I fell asleep for a few minutes standing up and the crowd was so thick I didn't even fall over. I slept through Metallica. I woke up for their last song or two. I was so bummed. And not sure if I should be mad at you for wasting a Metallica ticket or sympathetic to you because you missed a Metallica concert. This happened to me when I drank 2 tall boys of Blue Moon. And smoked 1.5 joints. I was there with my mom and we went to see it because of the song, See You Again. My brother had passed away a few months before and it was her favorite. In college, I took a cognitive neuroscience course that involved designed experiments to be carried out in an MRI and how to analyze the brain images afterwards. As part of the course, we all carried out our studies, and I volunteered to be a participant for a few, where I went to get in the MRI. The tech said I couldn't wear my sweatshirt in due to the metal near the aglets. So she got me a blanket to keep warm, and to keep my head propped at the right angle. They gave me a stack of pillows. I definitely unintentionally fricked with someone's data by falling asleep mid-study. Yay, live with a cognitive neuroscientist drives them crazy when this happens. Have to throw out the whole trial and time in an fMRI is expensive AF. Tell them to think less like a scientist and more like an office worker. If you want people to stay awake for your meeting, you load them up with free coffee and bagels. Or pretzels if you're in a pretzel city like Philly. But free coffee is key. I suppose if you want to study anything other than the effect of caffeine on the brain that could pose a problem. When I was a kid, like 5 or 6, there was a tree in the front yard I really liked climbing. There was a branch perfectly shaped for little me to lie down on. Early one morning, I woke up and decided to take my sleeping bag up the tree and went back to sleep. Okay, that sounds lovely. Homemade tree hammock. Thud. I used to fall asleep in a tree when I was a kid. The crotch where limbs separated was comfy and secure. When I told Mom, she had a conniption. Hearing it sounds dangerous. Living it, a secure cradle is completely safe. Techno party with my head on top of a big-ass speaker. Same here but under a speaker. Woke up at like 11 AM when the floor was closed. Went to the other floor and continued dancing until the club closed in the afternoon. On a tractor while plowing a field. I was doing night shifts during the summer and decided to get some extra hours in during the day, so I was tired when doing my actual shift. I switched on the tractor's GPS and set it to give me a signal 50 meters before the field ended to wake me up to turn around. The fields were about 1,200 meters long, so I'd get about 10 minutes of sleep before having to turn around again. I used to do this. But no GPS. Just pray the wheel followed the furrow. Yeah, I do this too. I just used the GPS to wake me up. Think how surreal it would be for someone standing on the edge of the field to watch a tractor plowing the ground with a sleeping tractorist inside. I enjoy the word tractorist. One of our customers once fell asleep with GPS while mowing grass at 4 AM and drove straight into a wide ditch. He got thrown through the front window straight into the water. His legs are paralyzed from another incident, so he couldn't get out of the ditch. He waited 3 hours on his front mower for the owner of the land to find him. He got some serious luck that he didn't got run over by his tractor and sliced into pieces by his mower. Way to ruin sleep tractoring for everybody. Bathroom floors. Standing up. In the middle of eating. I have narcolepsy, so I can seat pretty much anywhere. Not always by choice. I'm currently trying to not fall asleep in a hospital cafeteria and thought you meant all of those at once. What were you doing eating in a bathroom? I think I'm gonna take a nap on this table. Since I obviously need it. Even worse. I imagined all three at once and didn't even question it. I think I need a nap as well. During a job interview. He actually had to shake me awake. Weirder yet, I still got the job. You were hired for that power move. Look them in the eyes while sleeping. And assert dominance. Was it for customer service at Optimum? Every time I go there to drop something off, everyone seems on the verge of passing out. I fell asleep while marching to school. I was enlisted in the Air Force, and once you graduate boot camp, you go to your school to learn about your job. Well, I stayed up all night studying for a test. And I was so tired that I fell asleep while marching to the schoolhouse. And I somehow managed to stay in a straight line, keep pace, and stay in step with everyone. Haha. Yeah, I did this multiple times while marching to the chow hall during Navy boot camp. Except I would inevitably get noticed when I drifted off to the left or right. The fact that you were able to stay in formation is pretty impressive. I volunteered at the local firehouse when I was a teen, early 20s. We got a call one night on the interstate, which was a 20-minute drive. Sick me decided to close my eyes thinking I would wake up when the sirens stopped. I woke up when the truck pulled back in the station and turned off with everyone laughing at me. Well, they'd probably decided you'd not be of any help in your sick state anyway. While doing a school presentation. Literally. Okay. But what was the topic? Narcolepsy. On someone else's wife's shoulder. I feel like there's a story there. I was 19 going somewhere in a bus. This woman in her late 20s sat beside me. I didn't know when I had started sleeping on her shoulders. Woke up to her giggles. Kind of her to become my pillow. I too have slept in the arms of another man's wife and he stood there and just smiled at us. Love you, Mom and Dad. I once fell asleep standing up. During high school I had the weirdest relationship with sleep and ended up spending more time in class asleep than awake. One day after not having slept for a few nights in a row I just passed out during P. Standing up. We were waiting for instructions. I blinked. And suddenly everyone was out in the field doing stuff and I was alone. Teacher see me come to shortly after and informs me that class is over in a few minutes and to just go ahead and get changed again. Reportedly I snored. I usually didn't in the classroom. I think your dentist story is my favorite in this thread.